All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So the Jets just wrapped up their training camp practice, and Saleh just wrapped up his post-practice presser. There is so much to dive into here. There's so much to talk about. All right, let's start first off with some good news from practice. Okay, there's some concerning things too, but let's start with some of the good news. Breece Hall's back. Right, obviously the news broke early this morning that he's coming off the physically unable to perform list. He was out there, he was limited in practice, but to see him moving around, always a great sign. You know, it was kind of lingering in the back of my head, you know, with Breece Hall's injury, or I guess rehab process. I don't want to be in a situation where there's a setback. I mean, just as Jets fans here, we all know this. It happens from time to time where a guy will get hurt and then there's some sort of speed bump along the way, or the timetable that was originally listed turns out there's going to be, you know, a setback, and now we have to extend that deadline. Right, it's actually going to take, you know, a couple more weeks for him to get ready. We've seen this time and time again, but as of right now with Breece Hall, everything looks solid. And the cool thing too with Hall, he's never really been the injury prone player or anything like that, so that is a major plus. According to Saleh after practice, he said that Breece looked really good. He looked fast, he looked strong, and that was totally awesome. In regards to Zach Wilson, supposedly, according to multiple reporters, Wilson had one of the best days of training camp, right? He looked calm, he was delivering accurate passes, he was completing a lot of passes. I believe he had a touchdown towards the tail end of practice. So that's always a good sign, right? Zach has been one of the biggest storylines in the preseason games, simply because he's required to be the backup quarterback this year. It looks like the Jets are just going to give him the job. So, you know, backup quarterback is no longer one of these just, you know, throwaway positions. Last season, we saw a NFL record 64 different starting quarterbacks, right? Guys that aren't coming in, take a snap or take a knee at the end of the game. 64 different starting quarterbacks last season. Yeah, in the event that Aaron Rodgers has to miss time, we need to have full confidence in Zach. And so far, through the preseason games, he has not been perfect, but he's looked a lot better, a lot more comfortable, a lot more calm compared to last season. And granted, it's preseason. Sometimes he's going up against backups. The defense, you know, the defenses aren't throwing throwing a ton at him. I completely get that, but baby steps here. This is where we're at with Zach, and I'm happy that it seems like Zach is at this point in time trending up. Now, when we shift gears and look at the whole Dalvin Cook situation, it was reported earlier this morning from, I believe it was Mike Florio, or it could even came out like super late last night. But it turns out that the contract, again, according to Pro Football Talk here, it's looking like it's going to be a salary of $7 million and then $1.6 million in incentives. So overall, a pretty big deal for Dalvin, to say the least. According to Robert Saleh in the practice presser, the post-practice presser, he said that there's no timeline. He doesn't have a date on when Dalvin is going to be with the team, but he did say at least a week. Apparently, Dalvin is coming back from the shoulder injury, and he's also expecting a child, so he's going to be missing some time here. And what's crazy is, like, I actually thought it was flipped, right? I thought in the event that the Jets go out and sign Dalvin Cook, it would be a nice opportunity for him to go out there and get some reps in camp, really start working behind this offensive line, working, you know, with Nathaniel Hackett, picking up the system, and of course, working one-on-one with Aaron Rodgers. You know, it's always a plus. But it looks like, right, it's kind of ironic, Dalvin Cook is going to be the one missing time, right? He's going to be the one that's going to be absent from practice for, again, according to Saleh, at least a week here. And Breece Hall is now the one that's activated off the PUP list all of a sudden. So kind of funny how things worked out there. But unfortunately here, we have to change the subject and talk about the offensive line, all right? I don't like continuing to bring this up. I don't like harping on it. I really don't. I mean, Dalvin Cook just signed. We have the two rookies of the year. We have Aaron Rodgers. So much positivity, right? New weapons. Allen Lazard, McCall Hardman. So much positivity. Breece Hall coming back. Quinn All-Pro. So many things to look forward to. The Jets are in an awesome position, but this O-line has to be talked about. Okay, yet again, the offense struggled. Yet again, the offensive line was dominated by the Jets defensive line today. Supposedly, it was one of the worst practices that the Jets offense had in general. Aaron Rodgers was struggling, failing to connect with specific guys. At one point, there was a long streak of incompletions, and a part of the reason why was because of failures in pass protection. So, looking at the O-line right now and understanding the amount of question marks on it, and listening to Robert Saleh speak in the post-practice presser about how now all of a sudden Elijah Vera Tucker is hurt. He's dealing with an ankle injury. And now that the team is going to be going back and forth between Connor McGovern and Joe Tippmann with starting center reps, there's just, it's just another question added to the mix on who is going to be, another starting position we just don't really know at this point in time. I feel like it's still Connor McGovern is still probably going to be the starting guy when it's all said and done. But in practice, Max Mitchell apparently got hurt. He was grabbing his back and had to exit for a little bit. Mekhi Becton ended up coming in at left tackle and looked pretty good, according to reports. Supposedly he went out there and did his thing, which is, obviously a positive sign. But still a bit concerning how Becton is still not working, like starting out with the ones, and that an injury to, like a minor injury to Max Mitchell had to happen for Becton to come in. I guess that's just where the Jets are at. But, off the top of my head here, it's like just question marks, again, off the top of my head, that just instantly pop into my mind when I just think about Jets offensive line. AVT injury now. AVT positional change. Right? Will he be right tackle? Will he be right guard? If he does move to right tackle, what's the plan at right guard? The Jets didn't bring back Nate Herbig. Now Zach Martin is off the board, the best guard in football. That could have potentially been moved. Still debatable for sure, but that's now it's not going to happen. Who's going to be the team's starting center? If it's Joe Tippmann at center, will they move Connor McGovern to right guard? Will it be Wes Schweitzer at right guard? Dwayne Brown, what's his timetable on his return? When are the Jets really thinking that he's actually going to be out there practicing? And how long of a timetable do they think Dwayne Brown is going to take to get on the same page, rolling with the ones? It's just a seamless process. Where it looks like he's the Dwayne Brown of last season. Mekhi Becton's knee, when will he be able to just practice from start to finish? And, everything is good on that front. We're not having these concerns and questions after every single preseason game, after every single practice. How did Becton's knee hold up? Is he going with the ones? The Mekhi Becton stuff is kind of, multiple questions in and of itself. We have Billy Turner and Max Mitchell constantly flipping back and forth between left tackle and right tackle. And then, of course, Max Mitchell had to leave a section of today's practice because apparent back injury. But the good news is he was able to pop back in. So, there's a lot of concerns here, a lot of concerns that I have. And, of course, we can spin it super positively and say, okay, well, Dwayne Brown will come back at some point before week 1, and he will look really good. And Mekhi Becton, his knee will be fine. Max Mitchell will hold down right tackle. AVT will ball at right guard, and, everything is going to be fine. Of course, that could definitely happen. That's kind of what I'm hoping is going to happen. Maybe the Jets bring somebody in, right? Maybe they go out and sign a tackle, or they claim somebody off of waivers when cut downs happen. Maybe they make a trade, right? I think this is the positive here. The silver lining, if you will, even though the Jets have like 1,010,000 question marks surrounding the O-line now, there's multiple ways to fix it. There's multiple ways to improve, to add depth, to add talent here. It's not like the Jets are screwed and it's like, all right, we're locked in with these questions and there's nothing that we can do about it. And hopefully with the addition of Dalvin Cook and having a veteran quarterback back there and Aaron Rodgers takes some of the pressure off the O-line. But I got to be honest, looking at the amount of concerns, looking at, how the Jets performed against the Carolina Panthers in their joint practice, looking at pretty much every single post-practice recap that I've been doing, it's always the defensive line winning. Whether it's Will McDonald or Quinnen Williams or whoever it may be, so many, Jermaine Johnson, Quentin Jefferson, like I feel like almost every single player on the defensive line, Solomon Thomas, Al Woods, like everybody's had their moment to shine going up against this Jets O-line, which is constantly switching. Guys are constantly moving different positions. It's tough, right? It's tough to get on the same page. And throw on top of it, you got a new O-line coach, you got a new run game coordinator, you got a new OC, a new quarterback. There's a lot to get accustomed to here. I haven't reached the panic button yet. I think by the end of this week, if we haven't reached a point where it's like, all right, we got 4 positions solidified on the offensive line, no questions asked, I'm going to be at the point where it's just like, all right, we have to figure this out immediately. The season cannot come down to failures on the offensive line when we've had months and months and months and months to figure it out, right? There's been tons of guys available, ranging from different skill sets, different price ranges as well. You've had some top end guys, you've had some mid-tier guys, you've had veterans signing for super, super cheap contracts that could have easily been available. So at this point, I don't want to say there's no excuses. We still have the time, like I was saying, but ultimately, this line needs to be fixed. It has to be rock solid for the start of the season. One quick thing I did forget to mention at the start, Carl Lawson's still not practicing, still dealing with the back tightness. According to Salo, when it first happened, it sounded like it was just going to be like a 1-2 day thing, but he missed essentially all of last week. Clearly didn't play in the preseason game either. He was held out of the practice before Carolina. I thought it was because they wanted to get him ready for that joint practice. He was held out there. He was held out in the practice after that joint practice, and then no practice Friday, preseason game Saturday, nothing on Sunday, and nothing yesterday too, Monday. And then today, still not practicing. So what's going on with Carl Lawson's back? I'm not sure. But let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching. And as always, go Jets.